Jai Shri Ram. There are several GRE essay topics, issue topics on the theme of rationality and rational thinking. Here is one for you. Most people think that their deeply held values are the result of rational choice, but reason often has little to do with the way we form values. Now, let's try to translate this, or at least try to understand what exactly is this all about. Most people think that their deeply held values are the result of rational choice. Rational means based on reasoning, logical. So ask yourself, do you think that your deeply held values are the result of rational choice or the result of some other choice, not rational? The opposite of rational is emotional, intuition. So now, do most people think is a good question we should actually ask. And among those who think, do they have any values is the next question. And in case if they do have some values, do they have any deeply held values is the next question. And now the main question which the speaker seems to be asking, and actually he is not asking, he is only proposing his own understanding of the situation. Deeply held values, are they the result of rational choice? The speaker is saying that people think that their deeply held values are the result of rational choice, but reason often has little. Little means nothing. Remember, little means nothing. A little means something. Few things were lost means nothing was lost. A few things were lost, that means something was lost. So remember, in English grammar, the article a little, little. There's a big difference between these two phrases. You see, a little means a little, something was lost. Little was lost, nothing was lost. So please remember this in GRE, and it's a very important distinction you must remember. So the speaker is actually trying to tell us that people think that their values, that is the deeply held values, are the result of reasoning and logical thinking, but actually reasoning has no place, there's no reasoning at all in the way we form values. That's what the speaker says. Now, if you just mull over it for a few seconds, you will agree with what I'm going to tell you now. See, we value many things in life. See, for example, I personally value honesty, integrity, INTEGRITY. Integrity means honesty. Integrity means moral uprightness. So I personally value integrity. Now just we'll take a look at this integrity itself. So I value integrity, and as a mature, grown-up person who has seen 60 years of life, I instinctively know what is dharma and what is adharma. I instinctively know what is moral and what is immoral. I don't need any holy book to tell me. And in case if a holy book says something which is irrational, illogical, and then commands me to do something as if it is very holy and God's command, I will reject that holy book. Because my understanding as a mature, grown-up, educated adult and as an analytical thinker, I quickly understand what is right and what is wrong. I don't need anybody. I don't need a prophet. I don't need a holy book. I don't need anybody to come and tell me what is right and what is wrong. I think every mature individual has that capacity, right? So once you have this capacity, now the question is whether you are willing to utilize this capacity. Most people don't. They simply believe some religion, they follow some holy book without reading that, and by following whatever the preachers are preaching without asking questions. Simple, honest questions they won't ask. They won't have the courage to ask, because they perhaps value the security which the group gives them. They perhaps value many other things other than integrity, honesty, intellectual integrity. Say, intellectual rigor. If you look at this phrase, intellectual rigor, R-I-G-O-R, rigor means severity. Intellectual rigor is a concept which means consistency. Which means in chapter 1, if a book says A is good, and in chapter 2 or chapter 10, the same book says A is bad, then you throw that book into the nearest dustbin, right? Because it lacks intellectual integrity. So in one chapter somewhere it says peace, and it's all about peace, and somewhere else it says kill, and there is one instruction about peace and 1,000 instructions about kill. Now, this is a book that lacks intellectual integrity. And if you are still subscribing to that book as a holy book, then you have to get your head checked up. So, you are incapable of rational choice. Very simple. So, now, rational choice also requires that you don't blindly believe whatever somebody says. Even if it is God himself who comes down to tell you something, you should have the courage to ask him questions. That is rational choice, right? Rational thinking. Even God will then appreciate you. He will appreciate you and he will say, see, this is the creature I have created. So I think these are some simple thought experiments. I am just trying to help you understand the topic better. Now, let us pause for a second and ask ourselves a simple question. What are your deeply held values? So, for example, in my case, my deeply held value is integrity, nothing else. Integrity, which means honesty, moral uprightness and moral correctness, and the Sanskrit word is dharma. So, what is dharma and what is adharma? I am very clear. So, I deeply value dharma. And is it based on rational choice? Yes, it is based on rational choice because I am capable of thinking. And because I value integrity, moral integrity, dharma, I will reject anything else which conflicts with my understanding of dharma. Right? So, dharma, now the next question you should be asking is, what is your understanding of dharma? Integrity? Very simple. Not harming anybody. Not even harming an insect, because even an insect or an animal wants to live. Everyone loves life. Even the chicken wants to live. It has its own family. It will lay some eggs. It will hatch those eggs. It has, small chicks which will follow the hen. You can see that's a family. They all love each other, and you want to cut their necks, all in the name of God, and start eating them. You are a bloody monster, right? So, of course, I too ate meat several years. But more than 20 years have passed now, I have stopped eating. Because now after thinking rationally, I have realized it's an evil. Eating meat is evil. Thou shalt not kill. There are no conditions, no concessions there. Thou shalt not kill is an absolute command. It's a categorical imperative. The phrase categorical imperative means absolute command. Thou shalt not kill. It does not say thou shalt not kill, and here some concessions are there. You can kill goats, you can kill chicken, you can kill humans also. Nothing like that. Thou shalt not kill. That's an important commandment. It's a categorical imperative. Absolute, unconditional law. So that is dharma. In my opinion, dharma means not harming anybody in thought, word or deed. Well, if I am a soldier, I have to fight a battle. I'll first check whether the battle is for dharma. If the battle is for dharma, then you have to kill. You are a soldier. But if I am not a soldier, then I don't have to kill. But if pinch comes to crunch, and even the civilians have to fight it out, then we will kill. Because that's dharma again. So understanding dharma is very subtle. Very often, unfortunately, dharma looks like adharma and adharma looks like dharma. When adharma looks like dharma, when everyone seems to be doing it happily, you think it looks all right and you are getting everyone's approval also. So you go ahead and keep doing that. That's herd mentality. So now I gave you a reasonably lengthy lecture talking about myself, but I hope you have gained some clarity about this issue now. So what are your deeply held values? And then the next question is, ask yourself, have you chosen this value after rational thinking, or though you may not have sat down one day and decided what you are going to value, in retrospect, can you explain rationally why you hold something as deeply valuable, or why this is your deeply held value? If you can logically explain it and convince anybody, then you can take the stand that yes, my belief is based on rational choice. But if you cannot, then it is not based on rational choice. It means it is based on some feelings or intuition or maybe some custom which you are blindly accepting. Now, even among those which are not based on rational choice, not all can be condemned as bad. For example, I believe that a particular idol or a symbol, every religion has its own symbol, but some religions are hell-bent on abusing others as idol worshippers, while they have their own idols. Now, if you look at the definition of the word idol, Idle simply means anything that is held in great value, right? If you start holding anything in great value, let's take a hammer or a screwdriver. If you think that a screwdriver is a holy object and you start worshipping the screwdriver, and let's say you create a holy book, or somebody hands down a holy book in which the screwdriver is repeatedly praised, and you start wearing a screwdriver around your neck as a locket because the screwdriver is very holy for you. Now, if you believe that, it looks funny anyway, but does it harm anybody? No, it's a harmless superstition. So, now why should I condemn that? Isn't it? If you start using the screwdriver to kill people, then that's a dangerous belief. So, if you are simply having a small screwdriver around your neck and your holy book is saying that you must worship the screwdriver, and there are so many screwdriver poems in your verses praising the screwdriver in your holy book, which is itself called screwdriver, then well, I think it's all right, because you're not harming anybody, right? You're not harming anybody. And now you deeply value a screwdriver, which is not based on any rational choice. You may try very hard to rationalize it, but nobody will be convinced with your rationalization. Because though, of course, a screwdriver has some useful functions, it cannot be held as holy, right? So there ends the discussion. See, please understand, I have to discuss these things in great detail because unfortunately our education system has seriously shortchanged us. We have never been taught how to think and how to apply critical thinking to anything, and as a result we are blindly subscribing to stupid beliefs and stupid holy books and stupid religions, and we are afraid to ask even questions. Though our constitution says we must develop a scientific temper, spirit of inquiry, humanism and reform. In fact, most people don't know the meanings of all these phrases. Developing a scientific temper, which means a scientific outlook, which means asking for evidence. But remember, scientific temper does not necessarily mean that all spirituality should be jettisoned and thrown into the dustbin. Now, spiritual outlook, I have a spiritual outlook. Now scientific, I have both scientific temperament and a spiritual temperament. Now I don't think spirituality conflicts with a scientific temperament. Spirituality means the quest for self-knowledge, Atma Jnanam. So now spirituality conforms to a higher kind of reasoning, which may conflict with scientific temperament or so-called scientific temperament, which is only study of matter. Because we must accept that there is matter and consciousness, prana or ki, the Chinese word chi. Now you cannot deny the existence of consciousness, because right now I am able to speak because my body is still alive and my consciousness is making me speak, and you are listening, your consciousness is listening to me speak. The day I die, the consciousness in my body will go away. That is my Atma or soul or whatever you want to call it. So then my body becomes dead matter. So you can't deny the existence of consciousness. Science unfortunately doesn't study consciousness. The double slit experiment concludes that consciousness is the ultimate reality. If you don't know what is the double slit experiment, I have delivered talks on that also, or you go to Google and find out. Double slit experiment confirms that consciousness is the ultimate reality. There is consciousness even in dead matter. Okay. Now, deeply held values. Now, our national motto, Satyameva Jayate, is a deeply held value. And most people don't even know what it means, but that's the national motto. Satyameva Jayate. Truth alone triumphs. Now, most people don't know what is the truth. What is the truth? They have become old donkeys, Jarata Gardabha. That is the phrase that Rama uses for old people who have not made an effort to understand truth. They are called Jarata Gardabha. Sri Rama says this in Yoga Vasishtam. That means an old donkey. Jara means old. Gardabha means donkey. So people are old, 70 years, 80 years, but still they have not made any effort to understand truth. They are simply eating, drinking, and doing all just like an animal would do. So these are Jarata Gardabhas. So with due respect, you must say Namaste, but don't call them Jarata Gardabhas or JG. I call them JG. They may not like it, but that's the truth. Satyam eva jayate. Now, is that based on rational choice? Oh, that's a good question, isn't it? In fact, yes, it is. Satyameva Jayate is based on rational choice. We have chosen Satyameva Jayate because we believe that the truth of anything is more important than anything else. Your whataboutery, your nonsensical theories, your stupid holy books, all these are not important. What's more important is the truth. What is the truth? We need to know the truth. So that's the national credo of Bharat, and that's purely based on rational choice. But unfortunately, most people don't understand it. Now, what are America's credos? The de jure credo is "In God we trust." Okay, and this is found on dollars and specie, which means the coins. Green or greenback means the dollars. On the head, that means the obverse, you will find "In God we trust." That is the de jure motto, de jure credo, D-E-J-U-R-E. De jure means official. Credo of America, "In God we trust." Is that based on rational choice? Yes, again, because the word God basically would mean some higher power which is impartial, merciful, benevolent, omniscient, and objective, impartial. So that means God is the highest repository of all values, integrity and all that, right? So if we conduct our affairs at the level, at the national level, at a personal level, considering God as the only one who is trustworthy, that means anybody who is godly deserves to be respected, and anybody who is ungodly, you should be careful with them, or perhaps they belong in the jail. So that's a very good thing. It's purely based on rational choice, because we want a peaceful society, not a society of criminals, terrorists and rascals, right? Cheats and all that. So the other de facto motto of America, "E pluribus unum," Latin phrase, which means one among many, or we call it unity in diversity. So that's another rational choice. That's purely a deeply held value based on rational choice. "E pluribus unum," which means America, the founding fathers of America, felt that we must build a nation where diversity is respected, where nobody is forced to change, convert, get proselytized into some other religion and imitate others. No, you can be yourself. Rugged individualism is a deeply held value of the American ethos. E-T-H-O-S. Ethos means culture. Rugged individualism. Rugged means very tough. Be yourself. Don't have to imitate anybody. Don't ape. Don't mimic like a monkey. Monkey see, monkey do. Please don't do that. That's America for you. That's why I am an American. I am an unabashed admirer of America. Unabashed means shameless. I don't have any shame in declaring that I love America, but not the kind of America you see. Now there are so many facets of American life which are very bad, disgusting, condemnable. But the original ideas of the founding fathers, and there are many dimensions of the American culture which are very admirable and worth emulating for everyone in the world. That's why it's a great nation, right? So even that is a very good, it's a value, deeply held value based on rational choice. You know, the founding fathers have spent a lot of time thinking about what to choose as a national motto. They chose two, the de jure motto, the de facto, which means the actual motto, "E pluribus unum." It's a nation of immigrants. So there's no such thing as an American, seriously, or born American. You just, if you subscribe to those values and you're willing to live by the law, and if you're talented, the American dream is what you can pursue, which means the promise of prosperity. If you're talented and willing to work hard, America is the place for you. So that's a very great value. It's again a deeply held value, and it's based on rational choice. It's not based on some holy book or some feeling or nothing of that sort, right? Isn't it? So now let us dig deeper into this topic, because it's not an easy topic to first of all understand. If you don't understand, you will not be able to write. And after I go on talking like this for some time, putting this on paper is another big challenge. Anyway, now I've already delivered talks on how to write an essay. At least 6 paragraphs should be there. Each paragraph should discuss one idea, point, reason, example, point, a brief introduction, and the same introduction rewritten as the conclusion. 4 or 5 paragraphs which form the body of the response. 2 in support of the speaker, 2 opposing the speaker. So if you have this format in your mind, you will be able to churn out a very good response. So now there are many other things which I value which are not based on rational choice. For example, I value a symbol Om because I'm a Hindu. Somebody may value some other symbol. Now, and if that symbol, whatever it might be, like the screwdriver I told you, whatever it might be, even if somebody doesn't understand it, and even if it cannot be explained. In fact, it cannot be explained logically. But that is a value that is based on feeling, intuition. The word intuition is defined as deep inner feeling which cannot be logically explained. Right? So we value colors in some cultures and some religions. For example, in Hinduism we value saffron, ochre, O-C-H-R-E, because ochre or saffron represents Agni. Agni means fire. And the characteristics of Agni, in the national flag also we have saffron. The characteristics of Agni or fire are: 1. It purifies everything it touches. 2. It is fearless. It will burn anything. 3. It is detached. It never gets obsessively attached. It doesn't get attached to anything. So these are 3 great values. Now I have given you a rational explanation for a deeply held value, that is the color saffron. But still you may not agree with me, because these are my feelings. These are values that I have attached to that color. So this is not truly rational. It is actually spiritual. So you may worship, you may value green, somebody may value blue, somebody may value violet, somebody may value white, and each one of them may come up with their own philosophy. But then this is a deeply held value which is not based on rational choice. It is based on something other than rational choice, which could be spirituality, which could be religion, which could be a religious dogma. And as long as it doesn't harm anybody, I think that's okay. There's nothing wrong. We should not condemn it. Right? So now to take the discussion further, by now I think you got the gist of what I'm trying to tell you. You can make a small list of things that we value, deeply held values based on rational choice. 1. Success, excellence, knowledge, relationship, amity, comity, trust. Now you can go on writing: achievement, self-actualization, progress, economic progress, integrity. All these can be explained rationally. Therefore, these are all deeply held values. Secularism, democracy, egalitarian society, equality, feminism, equal rights for women, equal voting rights for women. If a man can have 5 wives, a woman should also be allowed to have 5 husbands. Otherwise, it's not equality. So, true equality means it should be equality. Don't go on waxing eloquent using some nonsensical whatabouteries to defend something that is irrational and criminal. So I can go on making a list of these are all the deeply held values which are based on rational choice. Now one more list: deeply held values which are not based on rational choice, which means they are based on individual thinking or feelings or sentiments or some religious book or some holy book. So what are they? For example, colors are there, stones are there, gemstones are there, so many superstitious objects are there: mojo, M-O-J-O, lucky charm, juju, J-U-J-U, talisman, fetish, amulet. These amulets are there, lucky charms. Do you believe in lucky charms? Yes, if you believe in them, and if it is not an expensive one, and if it gives you some confidence, because confidence is essential to achieve anything in life, I think you are a smart person. I fully subscribe to all those superstitions which are cheap and which don't cause any harm to anybody, and if they give you some positive quality like enthusiasm and confidence, I fully subscribe to that. What's the problem? So here are deeply held values. These are deeply held values which are not based on rational choice. So this is what you must write. So, and do most people think? Most people unfortunately don't think, and they don't really examine. They unfortunately, the truth is, most people indulge in herd mentality, herd-like behavior, herd morality also. H-E-R-D-morality. Herd morality is simply because everyone is killing the goat, chicken, and thinking that some bloodthirsty God is going to be happy. Everyone is doing that. Why would God want to kill? If God has created all of us, why would God want one of his children to kill another of his children? That's a dumb thing. It's irrational, it's absurd. And because when you believe in absurdities, you will commit atrocities with impunity. So, now, to conclude, the truth of the matter is, most of the values we have as societies are truly not based on rational choice. The world can only improve when most of our values are based on rational choice, and the rest of the values, if not based on rational choice, they should be based on spirituality. If they are based on some dangerous dogma, then suppose my deeply held value is that I should convert you, or if I cannot convert you, I should kill you. And if I cannot do both, then I should treat you as a lump of shit, and I should use derogatory terms, absolutely humiliating terms for you, and exploit you, and feel justified in exploiting you, because that is what my God is commanding me to do. Now this is dangerous, isn't it? So reason the world will improve, like I said, only when people's choices, people's values are based on rational choice or spiritual choice. If they are based on dangerous dogmas, see, not all dogmas are bad again. For example, we have in Hinduism the dogma of karma theory, which says that every action has an equal and opposite reaction, but we don't find any evidence. Therefore, I modified it slightly. I think every action has a more than equal, more than opposite delayed reaction, which I think is a better way to look at life. But even there we don't get much evidence. It looks like, crooked, evil, dangerous people are having a nice time, and honest, good-natured people are suffering. So in fact, if you take a hard look at life, in fact, this dogma of karma theory seems to be wrong. But if everyone believes in it, we will definitely have a better society. We will have a utopia. Utopia. Utopia means an ideal state. Actually, the word utopia means a utopian dream, which means an unrealistic state of affairs. But an ideal state where people will be very law-abiding, there will be no crime, and they will be deeply spiritual. Ramarajam. So, my point here is, if everyone believes in this karma theory, the world will be a better place. Though I do not know the truth of it. I am not even sure whether God exists. But I am certain that if everyone believes in this dogma of karma theory, there will be a better society. Because people will hesitate to commit any crime, harm anybody. That's good, isn't it? Then you will have a better human society. The whole world, the whole of humanity will be much better. We will be a more edified lot. So I think you fully understood. So you must have noticed that I have put how rational are you, a questionnaire. I will do this in part 2 because this recording itself has become quite long. I hope you enjoyed listening to me, and now try to write an essay, because on this theme there are there are roughly about 300 issue topics, and at least 10 or 15 of them must be based on this rational choice, rational thinking, critical thinking. So these are all related topics. So if you can write a nice essay, post it on WhatsApp, post the text to me, I'll give you an audio file, right? My number is 891-906-9803. So post this on WhatsApp, your text. I will give you an audio feedback file on how you are writing and what you should do to improve in order to ace the GRE verbal. So now I'm going to stop. In part 2 of this discussion, I will quickly run you through this interesting questionnaire which somebody has designed. How rational are you? And we will discuss on that later. So I'm just summarizing or reading out the topic again. GRE issue. Most people think that their deeply held values are the result of rational choice, but reason often has little to do with the way we form values. So our position is, listen, Mr. Speaker, of course that's not how you're going to write. So you're going to say that the speaker mistakenly thinks that our values have most of our deeply held values are not based on rational choice, but we can clearly identify some of them which are definitely based on rational choice. For example, democracy, secularism, equality, feminism, egalitarianism, meritocratic society, which is the American dream. The American dream basically means setting up a meritocratic society, which means only people with merit will be given importance. There will be no reservation on any other grounds whatsoever. In fact, only if you are talented and meritorious, you will be having the opportunity to get promoted, and so on and so forth, so that everyone strives to become good at their job rather than try to get reservation, and then when we promote incompetent people, the whole society will suffer. So we have created a kakistocracy or a kleptocracy. Thanks to Modi ji, things are improving. So we too want to create a meritocratic society, isn't it? So in your introduction, you will say that there are many values, deeply held values, which are based on rational choice. But at the same time, there are many others which are not based on rational. They are based on religious choice or religious choice. That means, which are dogmatic. Dogma means something that cannot be proved. Science is not based on dogma. Science is based on facts. Now, spirituality is based on dogmas which are harmless. But religion, unfortunately, most part of religion is based on dogmas which are dangerous. Now you start writing a good essay. Jai Shri Ram. I will continue in part 2 of this topic.